Hello, it's a fucking mess here, but I want to show you something. I made bazillion membranes. This is one of them. It kind of got fucked up here. So I have I have multiple problems. One of them is the foam issue. And I'll dismantle this one to show you what kind of solves that. So normally you have, at least this is the way many of this kind of tweeters are built. You have foam here, you lay down this, you will stretch it, and you know, that's the thing. Then on the other side there will be foam pushing on it. Now the problem is, or at least I'm having, is that it's quite inconsistent in how far it pushes the membrane forward or backwards. You would think that if the foam is the same thickness and is soft, which this one is not, by the way, but it will end up in the middle. So still away from the wood part, the slot I cut in my frame. It doesn't happen. Sometimes in the middle or something, it's all of a sudden closer to the wood and it will hit the wood, or the other way around, it will hit the magnets. So, and I was thinking about this for a longer time because I kind of hate this construction. Well, it's nice that you can remove a foil and just, you know, slap it on and then push it in. But I was thinking about it can be held by one side. So just for a test, I did this. I sprayed this foam with some glue. Then I'll just stretch it as I usually do, but then I'll just, you know, kind of, this is a bit nasty way of doing it, but it's stuck to the foam and I don't need a second foam. So now at least the distance from magnet will be the same every time. Now this foil is quite annoying. I thought, well, what if I left the paper on the sides? Yeah, and I was afraid of that. That does not work. If you corrugate it, this will not this is stiffer to stretch, while the middle is easy to stretch. So it will screw up the whole foil. As in, it will get crooked. Well, that's part one. Part two is I made this kind of contraption, then I used my regular foil, measured it, and I'll make a piece of video about just the measurements alone. But I try to explain in advance. You get rid of one of the big dips, but one remains, and I don't know what that is. And also, if you put the whole thing in the frame, then that peak shifts lower. So it was not the slot itself. It has something to do with the driver. So not so much the slot loading or whatever. Now I have an old panel, this one. It is shorter, so that's a thing. Also wider, but this has not that pronounced dip. It has a few wobbles, which is fine. I mean, it's not a very long tweeter as well, so it doesn't help at all. But it's smoother than these long ones. And I thought, well, of course the membrane is different, the magnet distance in between the magnets is different, so that might help, but could it be something like the metal? Like here it's just regular perforated sheet. And I guess I'm pretty sure that this has more open area in the middle, but the rest is closed off. This has open area everywhere, and it's a bit more random. More random than this. Now, so that one measures better than this one, but that doesn't prove a thing. So I made in the living room a version with too bad different metal than the one I showed you. So with this kind of metal, so this is R3T4. That means the hole is 3 millimeters wide, and hole to hole distance, center of center, is 4. And it's only 1 millimeter thick, which is not enough for this kind of magnets. But just to be, I wanted to test if I made like the same ribbon, not this one, but another one that I did measure, with this setup and with the R3T4 setup, and then the notch is gone. Then I thought, well, can I somehow put it into the frame I made, and then the last ditch or notch that was still around but way lower disappeared. So it seems that this metal, or the way I built this metal, is not ideal. And it might be this piece here and this piece here. So I was looking at a Carver when I designed this thing. You have 3 magnets and you have the holes in the middle. If, and I don't know why I did not do that, because it doesn't, it's no problem if it's there. I should have made another hole here and another hole here. Well, complete row, of course. And then there is quite a lot of open area, more than the other metal. Now the only thing I might be thinking about is that the other metal has holes, and it's quite random in if this magnet blocks it or not, blah blah blah. So it might be smoothing it out compared to this sort of slots. Anyhow, I have a very small driver, like 3 magnets long, in the frame right now that does not have this huge dips. It's still not perfect because the membrane itself is very heavy, but it looks way smoother than this does. So I have enough of this R3T4 metal to start over, like make these frames new, because I want to incorporate this sticky stuff so I can get away with only one foam. And I'm gonna do that by these kind of foamy tapes, very sticky. I have one that is 6 millimeters. So I will machine a groove in here, put the sticky tape in there, and attach the foil. And then the foil will be attached to the wooden part permanently, and the metal can be changed out. Anyhow, I'm not sure yet if it works, but I tried as much as I can to make sure that is the problem, but you never know. You never know. At least this, I mean, it works, but there's a huge dip, and I don't like it. And then maybe I have to change out all the metal, which is really a bitch, because I have to cut it down, because otherwise it doesn't fit the frame just by a few millimeters. So yeah, maybe I have to use either my grinder, angle grinder, or I might go plasma, because that might be faster, and if I make a jig or something, it should be rather fast. But then again, I still have to clean it up and whatever, have to glue it down. It's gonna be a bitch. And I have 5 days left, 4 or 5 days. So I'm gonna try to make something, for sure. And now the part with the measurements, and I'll ramble around a little bit more, I guess. Woo! So, it's a bit janky. So only a small part is playing with the perforated sheet instead of the metal I have cut, or I ordered. So half of the membrane is just sitting here, not doing anything, and only, like half is in a magnetic field. On the front it looks like a complete ribbon, but it's not. You can see a darker side here, and then down. Well, from here, it's hard to see actually, but only half of it, this part, is playing. And I'll show you the measurements. Finally, it comes closer to what I like. Well, it's not perfectly flat still, but I can show you it's way flatter than it was. And it's weird because how I cut the metal pieces and etc. Resembles kind of the carver ribbon. So I don't know how they measure. I wish I have a if I can get a carver ribbon, like a original carver ribbon, just to see what it does. I think there is a lot of room to play with this kind of stuff, as I did. I played like 2 days with foils and stuff, and then I decided it's not the foil, it's actually maybe the metal or maybe the frame. So I had the speaker, the driver out of the frame, measured that. There's still a dip, but lower in frequency or higher in frequency. So the frame does something as well. But by the looks of it, it's mostly the metal that is creating this annoying dip. And when you put it in a frame, it lowers the frequency. It's kind of weird. I've never seen this before, but, well, it's the first for everything. I'm gonna play a tune just for fun and giggles. I mean, this part is playing. This does nothing. Here's no ribbon. But I thought, well, fuck it. I'll play a tune and then I can show you some measurements during that, because otherwise we're looking at a stationary speaker, which is not very interesting. So this is a cobbled together crossover. I listened to it like 1 minute, so it might be completely off, but so far I'm happy with the top end. The extension down low is not as good as it should be, but that's because we are using 1/4 of the length it actually should be. So keep that in mind. But still, I mean, yeah, I see potential. This time I routed my input links left and right as well to this speaker, so we're listening to mono. So we're not missing out on something. Yeah, I could do this all along in my DSP, but I forgot. J'attends. Vände. Did I?
Mes jours passent, mes nuits pleurent et pleure le temps. Ma raison sombre et se meurt quand meurt le temps. Ce temps mort que je regrette tant et tant. Car sans joie ma vie s'arrête. Je t'attends. J'attends l'air que je respire et le printemps. J'attends mes éclats de rire et mes mes 20 ans, mes mers calmes et mes tempêtes en même temps. Car sans joie, ma vie s'arrête et je t'attends. Je t'attends. Viens. Ne tarde pas. D'où que tu viens, qui que tu sois, viens le temps et cours. Je t'attends. Mon rêve inconnu, quel est ton nom? Quel est ton but? Le mien c'est l'amour. Pour que mes jours se transforment et que vraiment ma vie par toi prenne forme à chaque instant. Parce que le vide me hante avec mon sang. Comme un peintre, je t'invente et je t'attends. Mes doigts par petites touches font tes dents avant de croquer ta bouche éperdument. Mais ces rêves ne me laissent que tourment, car je traîne ma détresse et je t'attends. Je t'attends. Je t'attends. Viens. Ne tarde pas. Qui que tu sois, quel est ton nom? Viens le temps et je t'attends. Mon rêve inconnu, quel est ton nom? Quel est ton but? Le mien c'est.
I'll show you what the tweeter is actually doing. Let's go back a little bit.
Je t'attends. Je t'attends. Viens. Ne tarde pas. Qui que tu sois, quel est ton nom? Viens le temps et je t'attends. Mon
Can't call it a tweeter.
rêve inconnu, quel est ton nom? Quel est ton but? Le mien c'est. Non, c'est l'amour.
Well, the balance is quite off, I noticed. noticed. But anyhow, if I listen to the tweeter alone, it does quite some work. And it's only 1/4 the size it should be. It's only this. So adding this, normally this would give you 3 dB more. In this case, it's like 6 dB more. And that's because this is still adding resistance, but it's not driven. So 6 dB plus 3 dB. So yeah, it should be, in theory, 9 dB louder. I'm not sure if that's gonna be the case, to be fair. I opt for 6 dB, but still, I mean, that will be 8 dB louder than my bass panels. Anyhow, finally I make some progress, because I was digging around for 2 days with all kinds of foils, and I thought, well, I might not be able to make it better. And I didn't like what I heard, so. Whoop, sorry. Talk to you later. Next time I have a rebuild, I think. See ya.